Welcome back to Outback Outdoors. Let's rejoin Team Outback Outdoors as they work on patterning and closing the distance on trophy high country mule deer bucks in Utah.
After we got over our own stupidity of walking in on a bedded buck, we spent a little time glassing, and it wasn't long before I spotted a good buck that had got up and started feeding up a ridge.
He's nice, right? We've got a buck spotted just down here. He was bedded and he's up feeding. We're gonna make a move and come on the backside of this ridge and circle around and try to catch him as he comes up over this ridge.
So Daniel stayed there behind the spotting scope, and Trev and I made a big move, a sweep around, and we were going to work our way down the ridge and try to intercept this buck. Things were going great. According to plan, it was going to happen. But 5 minutes before light, about 100 yards away, that buck decides it's time for a nap. He beds down. What the heck? With 5 minutes of light remaining, I decided to push it a little bit, try to stalk in close enough for a shot. Problem was, when he bedded down, the sage in the underbrush was really tall, and I couldn't see him.
Bert! Son of a... Why they bedded down 5 minutes before dark, I don't know. If they had kept feeding, there was a dead buck. I saw that little one, and then he was gone, but this underbrush is so high, they were bedded down in that underbrush and you couldn't even see him. And he didn't even hesitate when he got out of his bed. He stood up and gone. He was 50, 60 yards right there. Gosh, it's a nice buck too. But that's high country mule deer hunting. One stalk, one failure. First day, not bad though.
It's Friday morning. We decide we've glassed these bucks long enough. We've got them figured out as well as we're going to get them figured out. It's time to go. Friday turned into Death March Friday. We left Colin at the bottom with a spotting scope, and Jim, Trevin, Dave, and I went straight up the hill, all the way up and around, and tried to work back to a bowl where we had seen some bucks going the previous 2 days.
Take a nice even base. And now when you say even, you mean like my even or your even? Because it's different, I think. No, we'll split the difference. Okay. So I gotta be fast. faster and you gotta be slower. It sucks for me.
You talk about steep, rugged, nasty country, 11,000 foot elevation, slippery, rock slides, man, it was tough.
As you're looking, you come from the big rocks. You go one knob, two knob that's in the trees. Look inside you. He's standing right in the middle of the skyline. Look at the skyline. Right above where you were talking. Look at the skyline. Look at the skyline. Trevin. There's another one. Do you have it, Trevin? I have it. Make a stalk on him. The way the land is up there. What's the buck below? Just the buck. I don't know yet. Here we are on, is it Friday morning? It's the third day of our Utah hunt with Team Outback Outdoors. We're working up the north-south facing ridge. Gonna work over to these bucks. We got a couple different groups of bucks right now, and there are more deer in there. We know that. What a beautiful picture first thing in the morning to see that buck skyline and to be able to find them in the rocks and the timbers. It's nice. Shake and bake, buddy. Shake and bake.
We spotted some bucks, and what we figured that they were doing was they were feeding over the ridge in the morning and then back over the ridge to bed about 10, 11 o'clock. So we kind of tried to beat the sun, get up there in place where we thought they were going to come into bed, and wait them out. The plan worked. We spotted that great big non-typical, and we moved into position. Jim and Dave went high. Trev and I went low. We worked our butts off to get into position, but those bucks don't get old by being stupid.
We moved into position. We watched these bucks bed. About a 180 plus inch non-typical and a big 4-point, maybe 170, 175 inch, along with another buck that we couldn't quite see. And we're almost positive they bedded in here. We lost track when we let them set in there for an hour. We know they bedded down. It was noon. Jim and Dave moved above them to kind of come down on top of them. Trev and I slid down here, trying to cover their escape route. You can see behind me the chute comes down through here, and two chutes come together here. We thought we had a plan pretty perfect, but once again, these high country mule deer, they don't get that big by being stupid. Somehow they winded us or heard them or something and just gave us the slip up and over the top. They're a mile away. It's fun, but it's not easy.
Well, Jim and Dave were on top. Trevin and I figured that that was the place that we needed to be, so we went straight up this chute that we were in. And boy, was that stupid. At one point I was ready to turn around and go back down, but when you turned around and looked how steep it was going down, we figured it was a lot more dangerous going down than to just finish climbing up to the top. We all kind of come together at the top of this ridge, and boy, let me tell you, Death March Friday, well worth it. I've never seen such a panoramic view of such beautiful country in my life. It was well worth it. No deer that day, but we had a good time, saw some great country, and started to get those bucks figured out just a little bit more.
Stay with Team Outback Outdoors for Part 3 as the clock keeps ticking on their exciting archery Utah mule deer hunt.